bracelet that I purchased off of Amazon, and it was surprisingly affordable. So I've actually been looking into getting a tennis bracelet for about a couple months, and I'm that kind of person where I'll think long and hard about a purchase if I feel like it's going to be one of those timeless purchases, even if it's something that's only like $15. So as you guys know, right? I like this whole thing with like rhinestones. Of course, I like diamonds, but diamonds are out of the price budget, because I don't want to get something real. Because if I get something real, then what if I get mugged? So I bought this online and it was on Amazon. The link is below. And it's the PAVOI, PAVOI tennis bracelet. It was the white gold, 6.5 inches, and yeah, I think that was at 6.5 inches. The way you measure it is you measure your wrist and then add about half an inch. And then I thought this was going to be too big for me, but actually it seems like it's kind of okay. That's what I think. So you guys, let me try to zoom in over here. It might look a little janky on camera, but if you see it in person, it looks better. I'm not kidding you. When I was looking on the Amazon photos, I thought like, it looks kind of cheap, but it actually looks quite nice. If you see it in person, I can't really describe it to you guys, but I'm looking at it in person. I'm looking at it in front of the camera. It looks better in person. So when you see the reviews and people say like, oh, this looks really nice, and if you see the photos, you probably think like, man, these people need to get their eyes checked. If you see it in person, it looks significantly better than it does on camera. So let me show you the packaging. The packaging comes like this. Most people won't care. They'll be like, Erica, this is just a $15 thing. It comes in this little pouch here. Hold on. There's Clinton licking this thing. And then it comes with this little card. And what they say is they tell you some jewelry care tips. Hold on. I'm going to make sure that this freaking cat does not play around with this thing. Come on. We need this, you guys. So, okay. So unprofessional, I know. What can I say? It's a live stream. So, what they say over here is they say jewelry care tips to keep your jewelry looking pristine, remove before swimming or bathing, avoid contact with body lotions, oils, or other topical liquids, store safely when not in use or traveling. Our zip pouches make the perfect bag. Now, do I think the Ziploc makes the perfect bag? Personally, I don't. I know it sounds silly, but I'm so used to like, things being in a dust bag. And truly, like this rinkety dinkety thing, this is something that I would keep. Like, I guess you could put your jewelry in here, but I rather just keep it in the freaking box. That's just me. Or just keep it into one of those, like, you know, those cheap pouches, like sunglass pouches. But yeah, I guess you could store it in this cheap Ziploc. But yeah, I'm not too big of a fan of keeping a like I have dust pouches for jewelry. I keep jewelry in boxes. I don't keep them in freaking zip pouches. Maybe the concern is maybe this thing will scratch if I keep it in the box. Who knows? Usually I'm used to this thing having padding, but yeah, I'm gonna keep this thing in here. I'll keep this stupid pouch. I think I'm gonna toss the pouch, but I'm gonna keep it for, it says, I think this thing has a 90-day warranty, so most likely I'm gonna keep this for at least 90 days. Yeah, I'm that kind of person when it comes to warranty. I'm like, oh, I gotta keep it for at least 90 days. I end up keeping it for a year. so that is the little box. I think the box looks kind of nice. No one really cares about the box. It kind of reminds me of, I don't know, it kind of reminded me of Urban Decay makeup, if you're familiar with that. But let's go back at this. Let's look at this. It comes with a little clasp over here. Let me see if I open it right. See, so it has a little lock here. And let's pull this. It's hard to do with one hand. Let's see. This is why people do this thing called video editing. They don't do what I'm doing right now. So let's see. Okay, there we go. So this is it. And it seems like it's kind of, you know, kind of smooth. That. So this is a 3mm. And I like it a lot. See that? For some reason, it looks better when I have it off of my wrist versus when it's on my wrist. And I like it a lot. So the reason why I like this is, as you guys know, I don't want to have a piece of jewelry where if I get mugged, I feel like, hey, that person made out with like $1,000, $2,000. I do know like diamond ones, depending on. I did a really quick look about it. I think that if you want to buy an actual diamond one, it would cost you over $2,000 for something similar of that. And I personally don't want to give any thief the satisfaction of stealing one of my pieces and then going to a pawn shop and then saying, hey, I made a quick couple $100. I'd rather have it if someone decides to steal something from me. I'd rather have them go to a pawn shop and get punked. And then they say, oh, how much will you give me for this bracelet? And they say, it's fake. I'm not even going to give you like $5 for it. And if I get it stolen or if I lose it, I'm going to say, and then I'll just buy another one off Amazon. That is my go-to that I rather personally do. We are in different times. I don't want to be, and I've been in the situations where, if you have a nice piece of jewelry, you're worried about like someone taking it, you're worried about possibly losing a stone. I've had friends where they've had expensive jewelry pieces and they lost a stone. A stone came out of a setting, and I don't want to have an expensive piece of jewelry. I lose a stone and I'm like, oh crap, I gotta get a reset by a jeweler. Oh, I lost a stone, it's so expensive. Yeah, I have more important things to focus on in my life than freaking price of jewelry. So my personal take is, for me, because I know my lifestyle, because I don't want to think like, okay, I lost this or got stolen. It sickens me at the thought of me having an expensive piece of jewelry and it possibly get me losing it or it getting stolen. I rather spend that money on something else, investments than jewelry. Because let's talk about diamonds. Diamonds are not rare. It's that there's a price markup, and marketing tells you, hey, you need to spend a lot of money on this stuff, and that'll make you, loved, or that'll make you valuable. And for me personally, if I was ashamed about this, I would not be doing a stream about this. I think that there are more important things for people to focus on, and I think every person, every woman should feel beautiful. And if you have a cubic zirconium piece like I do right here in my hand, and you feel like you look better with it, then wear it. I'm upfront with you guys, and I'm gonna tell you that if you ever see me in a piece that looks like a diamond piece, it's gonna be cubic zirconium. Because like a flashy piece like this, it will be a cubic zirconium. It will be, a rhinestone, because I do not want to have a diamond piece and then get possibly mugged. I don't want to have a home invasion and then my jewelry pieces get stolen and someone's like, oh, we made out with thousands of dollars worth of jewelry. I don't want to give anybody that satisfaction. And I'm not ashamed to tell people, like, hey, I have cubic zirconium pieces, or I don't want to have any diamond pieces. Not because I can't buy it, but because it's a safety issue. I know that when you wear a piece like this, people will notice it. People will say, hey, that looks expensive. Some people will be, unscrupulous. Some people will not be good people, and they might want to rob me for it. And if they do, I'd say, here, take it. Take it. I don't care. I don't care. But if it was like a $2,000 piece, $3,000 piece, or more than that, I would care a lot. And it's not worth my safety and my health to put myself in harm's way for a freaking inanimate object. Some people, I hear that if they get mugged for their jewelry, then, they will put up a fight. And for me, I'm not going to put up a fight. I really will not put a fight up for my jewelry pieces. So, yeah, if anybody's like, here, give me your bracelet, I'd be like, yeah, sure, take it. It's fake. Take it. Go take it. I don't care. So, yeah. So, you know, jokes on them kind of thing. I'll just order another off Amazon. And that's what I said in my community post that I posted earlier today, and I still stand by that statement. So think about it. And again, if you are a person who likes flashy stuff or jewelry or like diamond looking pieces, don't deprive yourself. Get something that looks similar to it. There is no shame in having something that isn't a real, authentic diamond piece, because there are people out there that will put themselves in debt to get something similar to this. And I don't think it's worth it. You know, I can buy a piece like this and say, man, I can go to a freaking restaurant and spend more money on a hamburger than on this bracelet. So, yeah, if anything happens to this bracelet, I'll be sad that I lost it. I'll be sad if it got stolen, but the value can easily be replaced. Yeah, that one, inherited jewelry. Yeah, that one, any inherited jewelry, I don't want it ever, you know, I'm being very, very, very careful about this, but like stuff like this, right? If I'm out and about, I don't really care. So let me read chat really quick over here. Yeah, so if you want it, look at my affiliate link. I have an Amazon link in the description below. It's the same exact one. It's the white gold, 6.5 inches long. I think it's your only option is white gold and 6.5 inches, but yeah, it's a 3 millimeter one. Would you wear that on the subway? I could. Um, you know, would I? But I wouldn't. I would not wear it on the subway. I would keep this in my bag, and then if I got to my destination, whether it be a restaurant or, then I would wear it. But you know, walking on the street, you're kind of really asking for it. But if you're going to like a social event, oh look at this cat. If you're going to a social event, go to the bathroom, put it on, and then walk out of the bathroom stall with this thing on, right? And then before you leave the restaurant, then take it off and put it back in your bag. That's what I would do. I know I've never gotten them robbed. Wow, $5 a Subway. It's 12. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah, so for me, my wrist is small. It's a 6 inches too. So this 6.5 inch works fine. I was reading into it. They say that if your wrist measures like 6 inches around, then do half an inch more, so 6.5. If your wrist measures, 6.5 inches, then go with 7, because that's 0.5 inches longer. And you don't want it to be the exact same size, because then it'll look kind of strange. So this is half an inch bigger than my wrist, and you can see that there's, like I said, there's a safety class. I just got it in today, so I can't tell you how long it will last. But if anybody watches this and maybe like 2 3 months in asks me like, hey Erica, how's the bracelet going, I'll definitely give you guys a review, because I know sometimes I do review streams and then some people say, hey, can you give me an update about how the bracelet's holding up? I'll let you guys know. But again, I'm not planning to. I might actually wear this every day, but I don't want to get this thing wet. I'm worried about some kind of, I don't want to say rust, but you know what I'm talking about? Like, I'm worried about this cheap jewelry, but I could actually wash my hands with it and see how it is. But I'm worried about, let's say, some water getting in the backing and then it's showing up in the front. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, but like some of these vintage rhinestones, um, sometimes if you get, they can get like damaged in the back and then it'll show through. So I'm worried that if it gets damaged or if something happens in between the cubic zirconium and that backing, like rust, I don't know, something, then it might cause some kind of defect, or it might not be as sparkly. Who knows? So I'm planning to keep this dry as much as possible. I don't really want to take a shower with it. Um, but yeah, I don't. Yeah, so if I lose it, easy to replace. Just keeping this dry. I don't really use lotion on my wrist anyway, but I think it looks great. I think it looks great. I want to keep this as like an everyday piece, maybe not walking out on the street casually, but indoors. It's kind of nice. I think it's kind of pretty. So, and it's a good size. I have a very small wrist, small hand, and I think the 3 millimeter is actually quite nice size. Um, but yeah, you can see it kind of sparkle. And yeah, so overall, I encourage you guys, again, if you guys like sparkly pieces, go for it. You know, go for a cheaper alternative. Don't be ashamed of having cubic zirconium. Don't be ashamed of having, you know, rhinestones or, you know, cut glass or um, lab created diamonds. I know are diamonds, but you guys get what I'm talking about, like versus mine diamonds. I think that life is so short. So if you see a pretty piece and the affordable option makes you happy, go for it. I don't want any, again, I don't want any woman going through life thinking, I saw this cute cubic zirconium piece, but it's cheap. So I can't wear it because it's going to make me look cheap or I'm going to feel like I'm cheap. Your pieces should add, you know, beauty to you. If you're not going to be selling off your pieces, of course, I'm not planning to sell this at all. You really have no worry. You know, you shouldn't really care about it being cheap or not. It's like if someone asked me, "Is this a real if this is a real bracelet?" I'd be upfront. I'd say, "No, it's like $15 on Amazon. I'll send you the link if you like it." You know, better to wear something that's cheap and looks quite nice than spend a fortune and then cry if you lose it or cry if you lose a stone, for sure. So yeah, let's see. How reliable will that bracelet be in self-defense, street fights, or running from cops? Oh, it won't be, and it won't be good at all. If someone wants to take my bracelet, I'd say, yeah, I'll take it. I wouldn't put up a fight. I wouldn't put up a fight for $15. But I would just get a little chuckle because I'd probably think, man, this person probably thinks they got lucky because they got my bracelet, but they're gonna find out it's fake. I have no shame in that. I would like, I would not. I mean, like, I would not want to lose this, but if I lost it, I'd be like, it comes with the territory. I did read on Amazon that some people lost, you know, some people got robbed of their jewelry. So there's this one woman, for instance. I want to get the necklace version of this. This brand doesn't sell it, but they have a necklace version of these kind of like this is called a tennis bracelet. They have a necklace version of this, so much longer. And there was this one woman who was saying something along the lines of she got robbed of her diamond necklace. So because she got robbed, she decided to buy, you know, an alternative diamond, which is a cubic zirconium. And she says that it looks the same to her. So I feel bad for her because she got her necklace stolen. But also imagine the thief. The thief's probably thinking like, wow, I can pawn this. I can make a lot of money off of it. And probably got a pretty good chunk of change for it. A necklace version of this, a real diamond necklace version of this. But yeah, again, I personally never want to give anybody that happiness of stealing my stuff and getting a hefty payout from it. So that's why I'm always going to be on, you know, team cubic zirconium, team rhinestone. Hello, Oreo. Hi. And just go with it that there's no shame in wearing something that's cheaper, because if you're not trying to flaunt it as something real, what's the harm in it? You know, if you see someone with this, your eye might think like, oh, maybe it's real, maybe it's fake, but you know, you see something nice and you just move on with it. You're not gonna hyper focus and be like, oh man, you know, it really bothers me because I gotta know if it's real or fake. I've seen women where they have pieces, and I think it's kind of pretty, but you know, I just move on from it. But yeah, I would not feel comfortable having thousands of dollars worth of jewelry on me. And I'm thinking about adding not just this, I'm thinking about adding a ring as well. Maybe like a ring on my middle finger, and then that way it's a little bit more blingy. So I really like bling. I just don't like the price associated with bling. And I don't like the idea of having bling where if I lose a stone or if I lose it, I'd just be like, oh, it was so expensive. Too much pressure on me, right? you travel, and if let's say like I don't think I'm gonna keep this. Actually, I'm gonna keep this on my carry-on if I travel, but if anything happens, right? Let's say you travel, you go to a foreign country, and someone's like, "Hey, give me your bracelet." I'd be like, "Yeah, take my bracelet. Okay." So, I've heard some people when they travel, they don't bring their expensive pieces with them. They bring, they don't bring jewelry, or they bring fake jewelry, and it just kind of makes me laugh because I think, okay, so you have expensive pieces of jewelry. But if you're traveling, you want to bring the fake with you so that way your real one doesn't get stolen. But what's the point of having the real one if you already have a fake backup? Do you guys get what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna have to distinguish between I'm bringing the fake one with me, but I'm keeping the real one safe. A lot of women, in my opinion, they don't anticipate selling their jewelry. They'll just keep it. So it's just too much freaking work for me to even think about having a real piece versus a fake piece. So I'm just gonna go with the fake pieces, unless I had a really good price on, a real piece. But yeah, it doesn't make sense for me. It doesn't make sense for me to have an authentic piece, at least at this point in my life. Because it's if something breaks, I don't I don't stress out about it. If let's say I bang something against this, I'd be like, "Oh, whoops, got a little scuff. I don't really care. Some water pours on it, whatever. I dry it the best I can, but no, nothing, no harm. If the clasp breaks, which I don't think it's gonna break, it looks pretty solid. I'm not gonna worry. So, yeah. See this? Let's see. What does Oreo? He doesn't really care. My boss had the opportunity to look at his clients. He said it's lame not to his client's face for having cheap but flashy jewelry. My has a more expensive watch, so he likes us. I recall that being superficial. You know what the thing is? I'm not. I understand like some guys like really likes having a watch collection. I've known males who have had um, things like Rolexes, Panerai, I forgot how you write, Breitlings, that kind of stuff, Speedmasters. Um, I've known guys who take a lot of pride in their watches, and for me, like, I think that for women they like having what appears to be diamonds, because diamonds are a girl's best friend, right? There's nothing as beautiful as something sparkly. I like rhinestones, I like bling. I don't like too much of it, but I do like something sparkly because it catches my eye. Glittery stuff, sparkly stuff, it's just kind of like what I like. But I think that yes, there is a whole thing with ostentatious. So if you wear something like this, I can't wear this with like some dowdy looking clothing. That's gonna look kind of strange for me. So, but if I wear it with like a nice black shirt and nice fitted jeans, then I think it will look kind of nice. So even for this, wearing a bracelet like this would kind of remind me like, hey, Erica, be mindful of how you look, because if you look really bummy, this is going to look really out of place if you look bummy and you have a pretty nice looking bracelet. But yeah, if anybody asks me, on the street, is this real? I'd be like, no, it's fake. It's $15 off Amazon. So, yeah, I think it's not bad to have cheap jewelry. I think that people spend their money on things, right? I can afford buying a $2,000, $3,000 tennis bracelet if I wanted to. I could buy it outright, but I choose not to because what am I going to get from that? What am I going to get from buying a tennis bracelet, a diamond one? Then I have the responsibility of having to take care of it for the rest of my life. If it gets stolen, then I'm going to say, crap, I got to buy another $3,000 bracelet. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. And if I pass away, I can't bring this damn bracelet with me anyway, right? So I'm always going to be on the team where I say, hey, you know what? Get pieces that if you can find the affordable alternative, buy it. If you can buy the real piece, you can buy it outright, then go for it. But for me, too much pressure having a possible $3,000 piece on my wrist. So I'm gonna go with the $15 cubic zirconium. It works for me. It works for my lifestyle. Buy Lewis and Ice Cuban chain. Nah, he's not into that whole jewelry thing. He doesn't have a watch. He doesn't have any jewelry. He's basically, what you see is what you get. Polo shirt and jeans. Under Armour shirt and jeans. Basically, black polo, gray polo, white polo, or gray V-neck, black V-neck, white V-neck, or gray Under Armour shirt, black Under Armour shirt, um, blue Under Armour shirt. That's it. With blue jeans or khakis or blue khakis. That's it. That's his style thing. So we have Cuban links, chains, that kind of stuff. Expensive watches is not his thing. So that's why, So some a piece like this, I like it because it's pretty simple. I feel like it's pretty timeless, and it's a piece that I can wear my 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. And I like it because I feel like it sounds kind of strange, but I feel like it's very minimalistic. I like it that it doesn't have any brand names on it. I like it that it's just, it's a simple white crystal sparkly piece. And yeah, I could wear it with just a nice t-shirt and jeans with good styling, or I could wear it with a dress. It's pretty freaking flexible. But yeah, see, so having this makes me want to get like a ring. I'm thinking about getting a X diamond ring. I mean, not a diamond ring, but like a cubic zirconium one. And then, yeah, just adding more rings on my hand, and I think it'll look kind of pretty. But all my jewelry that I plan to wear out will be cheap. But if it's a more expensive piece, then yeah, I gotta be a lot more guarded with it, because I don't ever want to lose an expensive piece of jewelry. And yeah, I knew someone. Um, I knew someone who had a diamond tennis bracelet, and they were walking around, and they have a security clasp, and they did not clasp it incorrectly. So they actually, listen to this, they actually lost their tennis bracelet. It was a genuine diamond tennis bracelet. But what they did is they backtracked their steps, and they were able to find it. So they were very lucky that where they were was a pretty slow area. And can you imagine the freaking joy they had when they realized, like, oh my gosh, like they were able to get their real diamond tennis bracelet. They were just like walking, I guess it fell out within like 30 feet or so, but they were freaking, I remember them telling me like they were so relieved that they found their tennis bracelet. And yeah, it kind of stuck with me because that was pretty expensive bracelet too. Um, I don't know how much it cost, but I know it costs, a couple thousand. So yeah, I don't ever want to place myself in that situation. And hopefully, I don't see myself. But yeah, if I lost this on the street, I know someone would pick it up and they'd be like, oh crap, it's maybe a real one. And they'd be happy to pick it up. And I would just go on Amazon.com and buy another one. That's it. Hopefully they will still happen. But yeah, so that is all I wanted to say about my bracelet. And again, I encourage you guys, if you like the look of it, don't get so stubborn, or don't just fall into marketing where they tell you you need to buy a real diamond. Okay, there is nothing shameful, especially in this economy, to have rhinestone or cubic zirconium. If you are one of those people who say, I will not wear a tennis bracelet unless it's a real diamond, you are really just shortchanging yourself, because I think there are some really pretty pieces out there. And if you only want to be wearing diamond pieces, think of all the cheaper versions you could buy. I mean, I could buy, you know how much freaking cubic zirconium pieces I could buy with like $1,000? I could buy a crap load of them. So I'm thinking about, so I have this, I'm thinking about buying some rings, thinking about buying a necklace, the necklace version of this, and then just having it, if I want to let's say go out, go to a nice dinner. I can have my little cubic zirconium piece on me, my blingy looking necklace with my blingy bracelet with my blingy ring. And yeah, hopefully those pieces will last me quite some time. And if I lose them, oh well, I'll just buy another one off Amazon. No big deal. It's like buying another water bottle off Amazon or another sunglass. You know, no one really cries if they lose their $12 water bottle too much, right? So, yeah. Yeah. And yeah, so yeah, don't yeah, blood diamonds is a really, you know, that's so sad. So after hearing about blood diamonds, you know, people mine diamonds in Africa, and it's a violent thing, right? Because people can actually, you know, these if I remember correctly, these gangs of people go in and they'll commit a lot of atrocities, and sometimes people lose their limbs. You know, they hack off people's arms. It's really violent, and I don't want to be associated with that. So I think that for me personally, I think for diamonds, vintage is really the way to go. Lab created is a really good one. Cubic zirconium is good. You know, rhinestone is good. You guys know I love Swarovski crystals a lot. Swarovski crystals is basically like fancy cut glass. That's it. But yeah, if anybody wants to judge me and be like, oh, Erica has some cheap jewelry, she doesn't have some authentic diamonds. It's like I'm not planning to sell my diamonds anyway, even if I had them. No, I would not be selling them. I look at the risk versus the reward. The only reward I would get would be being telling to people, did you know I have a diamond bracelet? Did you know how expensive it was? Like, I have nothing to gain from that. My ego does not get filled by the thought of telling everybody how expensive my, like, if I had a diamond bracelet, how expensive that would be. Plus, that would also make me a target. If I went on stream and I said, did you know I spent $4,000 on this bracelet? I would be an idiot, right? So that's why this thing off Amazon, great purchase. I don't regret it. And if I have any changes in it, I'll let you guys know. But if you guys are watching this video, you guys, maybe you're watching this like 5 months down the line, 6 months down the line, feel free to ask me, hey, Erica, how's the bracelet holding up? And I'll let you guys know for sure. Because I'm not planning to make a little update video 5 months and this is how my bracelet's holding up. Would anyone buy a diamond if they knew it cost someone's hands? No. But I think people are aware of it and yet they still buy it because they say, I want to look pretty. I want to say I have a diamond. And I think, you know, as a person who lives in a first world country, we have choices. You know, we don't need to fall into the whole marketing thing where they make it sound like you only have value in your jewelry if they're real stones. You know, I don't need that. I don't need to tell people. I don't need to just push to people like, oh, I only wear jewelry that's a couple $1,000s and anything less than a couple thousand is cheap, too cheap for my little wrist, right? It's like, no. So yeah, I proudly show you guys my little bracelet. Maybe one day I'll come across, I mean, I don't know, I really like this bracelet, but if I came across a better one, then I definitely would let you guys know about it and pick it up. But I kind of like it. And yeah, if anybody says any comment about it being cubic zirconium, whatever. It's better than paying $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000. I think, again, the cheapest one that I saw online was a lab created one, and I think that was like $1,990. But still, you know, that's the price of a MacBook, almost two MacBooks. I'd rather have a laptop than have a freaking bracelet. Then I gotta stress out about, oh man, I gotta make sure all my stones are on my tennis bracelet. Or what if I lose one? Then I gotta bring it to the jewelry. You know, it's too much freaking headache for that kind of thing. Yeah. Um, how's my walking going? I haven't been walking. There's been a storm actually. When we came back from Las Vegas, yeah, um, we came back and then it's been storming and Lewis and I have been going out, so I haven't been doing my walk and talk stream. But yeah, it was raining yesterday. It was raining today. Oh, let's see. Hold on. Watch out for that class. They break easily. Make sure those side hinges are locked. They don't have any. It doesn't have a side hinge. It's just. Let me show you guys this. Was it this way? Oh my god, I feel like such a nub. There's a way that you'll open this thing up. Okay. So there's no side. This is not an expensive piece of jewelry. So it's basically, if you guys can. Oh my goodness. This is so hard to do with one hand. This is why people don't take jewelry off on camera. You can see it's pretty secure though. Okay. See? You would not want to do it that. I know they say diamonds don't scratch, but still. Okay, so the way it is here's a clasp. And then you put this over here. And then you just, see? So it's kind of like a C. And then you just push it down. See that? That's it. So there is no side clasp because I know sometimes they have the security thing on each side. One over here and then one over here. So you got two, but this is a $15 piece of jewelry. So, I mean, this looks pretty good in my opinion. And this. So yeah. Yeah, you know what? Let's see. They buy a ring. Hold on. It's marketing as well. They say, yeah. Well, you know what? You know who benefits from that stuff? The freaking jewelers. Yeah, like you know what I think is really sad? When I see people and they have these like these engagement ring posts, and you see some people with like the world's smallest diamond, or like a really tiny thing that looks like a sesame seed. And then sometimes women will go on board and be like, oh my gosh, why is that guy so cheap? Why this looks like such a crappy ring, but then the woman is happy to get it, right? At the end of it, a diamond ring, any engagement ring, wedding ring, it's nice to get a nice ring, okay? I'm sure it's nice to get something blingy blingy, but people need to factor in that when people get married, their incomes combine. And it's like the woman, if she gets like a $5,000 ring, does the guy get a $5,000 wedding ring? Most likely not. And if they're combining finances, combining bank accounts, is that really a smart purchase to spend so much money on a ring? In my opinion, I would say no. For the average person, if someone's making like $45,000, I don't think it's smart to spend like $4,000, $8,000 on a ring. That's just my opinion here. I think that people should live within their means or below their means is really the best way to go, because at the end of it, if you lose your ring and something happened to it, you got it stolen, like like you can replace it. It's much harder to replace a ring if it's $10,000. So there was this one I shared with you guys, this one story that I read when I was in Hawaii. There was this woman, she went to, I think, a birthday party or a baby shower, and she was washing her hands, right? So she took off her wedding ring or her engagement ring. It was a $13,000 ring. She took it off, put it on the soap dispenser or right near the soap dispenser, and she forgot to put it back on. And she went back to the bathroom, and guess what? Whoever was in that birthday party or restaurant, they didn't return the ring. So someone took that $13,000 ring and they pocketed it, and I can't blame them. Okay, use pliers to make it tight. I'm kind of worried about tightening it because I'm worried it's like some Chinese metal, and if I use pliers, it's gonna break off. But we'll see. If I lose it, our Underwool, I'll just be like, yeah, the class came loose. No biggie. It's $15. We'll see how it is. So yeah, that woman who lost her $13,000 ring, I don't think it's easy for her to replace a $13,000 ring, because you pay $13,000 once, you got to replace it. You pay another $13,000. That's $26,000 on a ring, which is a pretty chunk of money. You know what I could do with $13,000? a lot. So I wouldn't want that pressure on my freaking finger for $13,000. Like, oh gosh, no, 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 no. It's just too much. It's too much pressure. Like, okay, my one hand is $13,000, but what about my other hand? Like, this is the poverty. One hand would be like the poverty hand. Yeah, they're not rare. They're not rare. So all this kind of talk, So yeah, if you guys have to buy jewelry, I would say buy something cheap. Go on Amazon, buy some cubic zirconium, go online, buy some vintage jewelry, go on Etsy. You can buy some handmade jewelry, and they have pretty good jewelers on Etsy. I would not, I think something like special or custom made for like a small piece is like so much better than one of those like mass produced like K Jewelers, Ben Bridges kind of thing. That's just me. And plus I don't take jewelry too seriously, um, at all, because I think that jewelry is nice and all, but what's more important is like taking care of yourself, your body, your hair, your teeth, your makeup, um your nails, even though my nails, oh, um there's more important things to focus on than jewelry. And sometimes people spend so much money on their accessories, but they don't spend enough money and time on themselves outside of their expensive stuff, and I think that's such a shame. So yeah. Yeah, it's like depreciation, right? Like if I like pretend this was real, right? It's not real, but let's pretend this was real, right? If I spent $3,000 on it and I wanted to sell it to someone, you think I'm gonna get $3,000 for this? No, I'd probably get like a fraction of it. So that's why you can't. I don't know of any jewelry that appreciates unless they're associated with some big time celebrity. But for an average person, if they say, oh, I have a diamond ring, I want to sell my diamond ring, I bought it from K Jewelers at $5,000, what can you give me? Maybe a pawn shop will say, we'll give you $1,000, right? Maybe they'll give them $1,000 because that way they can sell it maybe for 2,500, make $1,500 profit. So yeah, and it saddens me when I see people too, and I'm not knocking on people on hard times, but it saddens me when, people, they get married and then they buy an expensive ring and then they fall on hard times, and then sometimes the women will pawn off their jewelry, pawn off their ring, because they need you know they need money, and the money that they get for their jewelry is a fraction of the retail price. So that's why I say, I'm a big believer that you shouldn't put too much money into your jewelry, your engagement rings, your wedding rings. If you want to, you can, but if anything happens, through sickness, through health, through rich or through poor, it will be very sad if you have to pawn your jewelry just so you have extra money. So my thinking is, instead of pawning, putting yourself in that situation, buy cheap jewelry. Buy, you don't have to buy like a diamond ring. You can buy like monzonite, for instance. You can buy, something cheaper. I know some people, they go to Walmart and they buy like a cubic zirconium ring. They get married and it's like a $15-$17 ring. And sometimes people will like look down upon them and say, you bought your ring from Walmart, you bought a $17 ring. But for me, I see it as, it's like, hey, you know what? You got two people who love each other. They want to spend their money on a $17 ring and they're happy with it. Celebrate it. Because just because you have an expensive ring, expensive jewelry, doesn't mean that there's more love involved. Because I've known people where some people, they spend a lot of money on their diamond rings, and then it puts pressure on the guy, because the guy's like, frick, I want to treat my future wife like a princess, but I don't make that much money. So they'll have to put themselves into debt just so the woman can feel like a princess for a frickin' day. And maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just being, a certain way, but I kind of think like it's so stupid to put yourself into debt on your first day of marriage, right? Because it's like you get married and you're like, oh, I got my princess wedding, I got my princess wedding dress, I got my princess wedding jewelry, and we are in $25,000 in debt. Stupid. It's so stupid. I mean, like, you gotta think about, like, the idea behind that kind of image, who benefits from it. You know, jewelry people, wedding dress people, caterers, you know, all the whole team behind wedding planners. All those people benefit from that whole trying to glorify this thing where they say, spend money on your wedding, so because you know you're worth it and you deserve to feel like a princess for a day. And I don't know. That's just me. Like, I would not want to put myself in that situation if I ever got married. Yeah, De Beers. De Beers. De Beers owns 75% of the diamond stuff, right? If I remember correctly. Are we good at dancing? No, no, no. But yeah, so I'm gonna get going, you guys. I gotta take a shower. It is getting late, but I wanted to do this like review about this, and I know for 45 minutes me talking about jewelry and me talking about my thoughts about this. Maybe some of you guys are interested, and maybe you guys aren't. But yeah, remember, you don't need expensive jewelry to feel pretty. You can feel pretty with cheap jewelry as well. And your value is not in your possessions, okay? Your value is within yourself. It's your character. It's how you treat people. And that's why you will never see me put too much value on my jewelry at all, because yeah, I mean, it'll add to aesthetics, but I don't lead. I don't want to lead a life where I'm thinking like I'm better than you because I have a $3,000 tennis bracelet and you don't have one. Because yeah, it just doesn't make life happy that way. So yeah, you guys take care, and you guys all have a good night. And by the way, Jim, I'm happy that I caught you on my stream, because I know sometimes we got like time zone differences for sure. Yeah, you guys, see ya.